just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Oh, it's a Saturday afternoon. And man, there's a lot going on in the sport, but people trying to act like it's not. There's a lot of big things going on in the sport. Some good fights have been put on the schedule, on the table, and for one of them, we're getting a lot of mixed reviews. I would say it's mixed reviews because people who, I would say the hardcores are like, they're looking at things the way they need to look at them. Hardcores appreciate, good fights, good skill sets, regardless of who have them. That's a hardcore. Casuals, they like, look, I don't got time, I don't got this. Their clock is different. They can get satisfied with football and basketball and maybe even some MMA. They can get satisfied with all these other things. So the casual fan, their tolerance is not that high because they're subject to listening to certain people. And over time, they establish a level of trust or familiarity or fondness of individuals, so they just listen to what they say. And if they say it, then God dang it, it's the gospel. You know what I'm saying? We all are there when you first, get on YouTube and you start looking and listening at to people online. Salute Cookie Monster, sounding great. Body Work. Thanks for that mic check. AC in the building. Salute Body Work. Salute AC. Glad you could be present. But a lot of people that's casual, and it's like casual is not always derogatory. Casual just mean that you don't have the time to sit down and research. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that sit down and have all the time in the world. They have a team. They use gadgets and wizards. They have teams and they use AI and they do all kind of crazy stuff. And they still going to paint a narrative the way that feeds their pockets because it's a business. Me, I come around, I put stakes in the ground, and I really give the people the behind the scenes, the nuts and bolts, the real time. That's why I say it's the pulse of boxing. Like at any point in time, I can pretty much tell you what's going on, what's relevant, and give you some nutritional value, what I call it. I've moved away from having emotions and that's my favorite and ready to punch somebody lights out because I like this guy more than I like that guy. I moved on from that. Sometimes I get a little excited like I always do, or passionate like I always do about anything in some of these debates, and it's more of a level of respect and disrespect amongst men. It has nothing to do with getting ready to fight over two fighters or box over two fighters or be yelling and arguing over two fighters. It's more of a level of respect. But I've been looking at everything, man, and as early as today, I'm gonna go into the curriculum real quick, and then I'm gonna come out, and we're gonna have it's gonna be a relaxed environment, and I'm gonna open it up, and we just gonna have an honest dialogue about this. Curriculum gonna be short, but as early as today, I heard someone talking about boxing, and a lot of people respect them. You know, a lot of people get down, and I heard them saying some things, and I jump in because I'm the pulse. You know what I'm saying? I like to figure out what's going on, how people are seeing this, how people are doing this, how they reacting to this. I'll get a pulse, and then I'll come out and I'll, you know, relay all that. You know how Batman, when he got that sonar system, he can hear everything going around the city. When I say the pulse, that's what I mean. I might go here, there, you know what I'm saying? Just getting a vibe, just feeling around. And if I do use something of somebody, trust me, I'm one of the ones to say, hey, I heard this there, or I did that there. You know what I'm saying? I know there's no honor amongst thieves. So I like to give people credit, man. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm being original in thought that I have and this and this and that. But I was listening. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. I was listening, right? And I heard somebody referencing the fight that I was talking about. They was talking about this, right? And this is an aristocrat, a thief, a politician, you know, I would say it is some nutritional value with some of the things he say, but a lot of that shit be politically driven. And I heard him say some stuff about how this fight right here didn't have any appeal to fighters in the U.S. And I sat back and I thought about it. I said, see, that sound like debate. I call it debate bait. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, some people gonna get out there and they're gonna say something so controversial because they wanna cause a frenzy. They wanna cause somebody to come up and challenge. You know what I'm saying? I used to be that guy. Like Doc Holliday, I'll be your Huckleberry. You know, Tombstone was my favorite movie. That's one of my, Val Kilmer, one of my favorite actors. That role that he played, you know what I'm saying? Aside from a couple Jokers, aside from a Denzel and Hurricane, aside from a Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne, aside from a couple parts, man, it's maybe John Caviezel and the Count of Monte Cristo, maybe. Only a couple people that played that role a little bit different. And I'm like, analyzing, I'm listening, I'm like, man, for you to have so many people listening, for you to have, like, because I be looking at people, I'm like, man, it's good when you get a lot of people watching, right? But when people come to you like you their pastor, you their uncle, you know what I'm saying? You're their mentor, you're the leadership, you're their role model. I think that when you get to a certain amount, I think you have a responsibility, man, to be responsible with the dialogue, man. Not saying that, you know, you got to be confined to rules and all this with your conversation, but to say that this fight don't have no real, everybody want to talk about Turbiev and Bivol. Remember just the other day I said nobody, when I did the live on this fight, I said nobody was talking about this fight. Look at what happened since I actually posted that. That was 2 nights ago, right? When I did that, look at all the videos and everything that came out. Look at everybody's thumbnail. Look at what everybody talk about. Now we seeing personal. People interviewing Bivol about his personal music and all this. But look at it. Obviously, people are interested. And I just said it's the people that's in the driver's seat. The pilots are not doing the responsibility with the conversation around it. And why these guys are not getting, you know, their salutes or not getting the attention they deserve. This is their time to shine. I think the day when I did it, I said we was 9 days out. So what, we 7 days out? They deserve your attention, but to say that this fight right here don't, it don't have no appeal to Americans, I'm like, well, what do you think David Benavidez is trying to do? Duh. Who likes David Benavidez? Why you think ain't the talented Mr. David Morrell in that division? Duh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't you know that everything, don't you know that, okay, listen, you have the Walmarts of the world. You have the Costco's of the world. You have the Amazons of the world. But do you realize that just because you can go there and it's convenient and it's always there and the process is seamless and you see them and you can access them all day, every day, you do know that they don't have the best products, right? You all know that just because the highway can get you way further and fast, you do know that sometimes when you're traveling and you're trying to get to a certain place, you do know using that big broad highway is not the way to go, right? Or is it just me? You know that, right? Okay, so I say it because a lot of times it might seem like I'm hating on these guys or putting something up against. Like, no, I'll support them guys. I give money. I'm a member to one of these guys. Because I want to say that, listen, man, I'm not just here to just, ixnay and nah and be the contrarian. Like, no, I'm there to support. But when you have an agenda and everything, I have to, like, it's my channel, like my lane, to say, oh, no, I felt a little different about this. Yeah, today you batting about 65 with me. Normally you up around 80, but today you down around 65. Monday you was around 40%. It's just like that. But overall, if I'm checking in and watching your material, chiming in, I rock with you in some way, shape, or form or fashion. I don't always have to agree. But I had to think, I said, man, what's going on? It's like, because they got to manipulate it around something that they got to keep the conversation around everything. These mass debaters, they got to keep the conversation around everything in a trivial state. They always got to murky the waters. They always got to rock the boat. You know what I'm saying? Just to cause it. Why? Because we're going to get into it. That's a path of a narcissist. But for this part, I'm just going to use, what's an example of moving the goalpost manipulation, right? Why do they move the goalpost? They got to move the goalpost because today they're telling the truth. Tomorrow they're lying. And then they'll get the benefit of saying, oh yeah, yesterday, I was wrong yesterday, but I figured it out today. Knowing damn well the whole time, whatever they're pushing at that point in time in real time is some BS. Some pure D shit. But what is an example of moving the goalpost manipulation? And then we're going to break this down. Even personal relationships can see instances of moving the goalpost example. For example, one partner may continually raise their expectations or change their demands, causing other to feel like they can never do enough. You've been around them people. You get up there on the panel and because you sound a little bit educated, the first thing they got to do is they got to belittle you. They got to let you know that they know more than you. They got to let you know, oh, nope, you didn't say this. And they got to stumble you up. Why? Because only one can shine. That's not how it is over here. I was talking to AC the other day, man. He said, man, I welcome being in the presence of people that's smarter than me, that know more than me. I said, me too. If your circle ain't getting bigger and better with people that's doing bigger and better things than you, your circle is about to be finito. Why do narcissists move the goalpost? If you accuse someone of moving the goalpost, you mean that they have changed the rules in a situation or activity in order to gain an advantage for themselves and to make things difficult for other people. Narcissists love to reinforce feelings of worthlessness in their partners. It's a sick high for them. It's the last thing. Why is moving the goalpost in psychology? Moving the goalpost refers to changing the criteria or benchmarks for success, often making a task or goal more challenging. It's a symbolic representation of altered expectations or shifting standards. All right. Everybody like, man, you gonna bring it home, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you. This is what we're talking about. There's this hit list, right? And I've heard this in a couple different places. Everybody, oh man, Tank, he got all this, he got this hit list, man. We want to know who's on that hit list. It's like, why? First of all, this is the first goalpost move. Why are your demands, if he ain't shit, right? Why are your demands so high of Tank that you demand a list from him? But there's no accountability for you and your favorite fighter. Where's the list that Loma gonna have? Where's the list that Shakur had? Where's this list of Tio? Where's this list that Devin had? Because with these guys, there are lists where there's more reasons why they can't or they won't or they not willing to fight everybody else. But it's a high level of demand for Tank when it comes to everybody. And everybody want to know what's on the list. I'm like, but dang, man, I mean, okay, he's at least he know. I thought that as a fan, at least you know, okay, 6 fights. You thinking, okay, if that's twice a year, that's at least 3 more years. Maybe add another year, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So that means we're going to be seeing the man get busy for the next 4 years. That's how I took that. That's how I took that. You know what I'm saying? If I could have on my list all day, every day, that me and my lady, we're going to go out, we're going to go to the gun range, we're going to go get it in. But if on her list, she never had it on her list, and that's not what she's doing that day, I can't go to the range with them. And they were saying, oh man, then here we go with Roach. Here we go with Roach. That's what they doing. They just pointing out, oh man, how you get Roach? Come on, man. And I could have went through all the articles and all this, but I don't want no dumbass fan taking something and clipping something like I'm shitting on my guy. You know what I'm saying? When I got a lot of respect for Roach. You know what I'm saying? Tank is my guy. Along with Inouye, along with Shakur, along with Keyshawn, along with David Benavidez, along with David Morrell, along with Jamel. You know, it's a lot of guys on my list. Bam. I have a list. It's there on my intros. If you make it up in there and I put your pictures up there and I'm showing something about you on there, you're one of my people. I watch your fights. I support you. But the narcissists are up here moving the list and they rearranging them around. And the reason why they do it, I think a lot of the times because they know that, see, you can sink your teeth into certain fighters. Like certain people can get certain fighters to be at certain places or do certain things, or they might got a relationship with the camp or this and this and that. So there's something to gain to uphold you. These guys know that it's locked down tight, air sealed. You're not getting in. It's like no new friends over there. So what would be their interest to paint any of these guys in the right light? And don't get me to talk about the thing that I always talk about when I say it's just as clear as the air that we breathe, that we can't see, but we know that we need. Don't make me get down to it, because whenever one of these guys with a big name, now there's 2 guys now. Mind you, they're champions. And everybody is complaining. That's why I said when I heard this guy talking about that, when I heard this guy say that this fight doesn't have any appeal to Americans, and then I hear the response about what I'm hearing about Tank fighting Roach, I'm like, man, these guys are like, they know what they're doing and they're really like murky in the waters. Narcissists love that, so they can come back and be the reinforcement. So they can come back and say, oh man, you don't know shit about boxing. Oh man, listen, man, you got it wrong. Listen, man, only to come around when they know they be bullshitting you that day, only to come around 2 days later and back, listen, man, I thought about it, man, I was wrong. You was wrong when you was saying it. You was wrong when you was pushing the agenda on it. If you shitting on this fight, you can't say nothing because these are 2 champions. There's nothing to say. And I was saying that I was waiting around, and when the fight was announced, I was just like, okay, if you're so loud, I've seen so many people loud right now. The video don't even got to be about this man, and people in the comments up here just shitting on the man, talking about how he always cherry pick, how he always doing this. I'm like, listen, man, if you were not just this loud when Shakur was getting ready to fight Cordina, if you wasn't this loud when Teofimo Lopez picked Steve Claggett, if you wasn't this loud when Devin Haney just foregone a shot as a champion in recess to fight Puello. Nope, he don't want to do that. He didn't want to fight the dude Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin will go fight the belt. And then he priced himself out at $4 million to fight Paro. And Eddie said, well, no, maybe you might be at $1 million now. And guess what? Next thing we know, we heard Richardson Hitchens was getting ready to fight Liam Paro. I heard somebody the other day come out, the first person, when that news broke, the first person that commented on Richardson Hitchens versus Liam Paro was a guy that looked like Richardson Hitchens, who said he don't respect Richardson Hitchens for avoiding Subriel Matias and then fighting Liam Paro. I said, do you literally know that this is literally what Devin Haney just did? He waited because I was saying, don't go play in the sandbox with Ryan. Go over there and get it from Subriel. Unify with Subriel. You also had T.O. Don't play in the sandbox with Ryan, man. Make Ryan do something, man. All y'all other guys, y'all done went and got belts and y'all did this. Go make Ryan do something. I was alone at that point. Oh, man, you just hating. You don't want to see. And then we seen what happened. I called it April Fools. I said it was the circus. And in hindsight, everybody called it a circus. I did it in real time. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all in real time right now, man. Listen, put your goggles on straight. This is two champions. But just like Devin chose to go play in that sandbox and then his career got knocked off azimuth, he's still trying to gain his bearings. He was going to come back, forego a shot at getting his strap back from Puello, which is no easy task, to go fight Liam Paro, but he wanted $4 million to do it. But then Richardson Hitchens, he fighted Gustavo Lemos. Tooth and nail, life and death. Never got dropped, never got knocked out, never got knocked down, nothing. He won. He got the edge on that fight. That was a dog fight. He did that under the IBF. The first one to chime in on him was one Devin Haney talking about, oh man, you're going to use the weight clause excuse. But the thing is about Richardson Hitchens, he was straightforward about it. He said, listen, I got to see how my body going to do. I'm not going to fight somebody like Subriel like that right now, not knowing how it's going to be under this IBF. And he said, look, I'm kind of like a big 40. At least he coming out and said. But you have OnlyFans when they fight ballooning up 25 and 30. Oh, man, why y'all we talking about weight? No, because it matters when you can't rehydrate. When the last time we seen somebody like Devin go into a fight where he could only rehydrate 10 pounds? But we seen Richardson Hitchens do it. We seen him do it with a guy like Gustavo Lemos, who I say is Isaac Pitbull Cruz with bells and whistles. But because the loudest speaker boxes and the biggest couches, they co-sign this kind of behavior, they'll let you know that, oh, it was nothing wrong with that. It's something, it's terribly wrong. If you go to a restaurant, you sitting down with your lady and you go to the bathroom, you come back and there's somebody sitting in your seat. I don't care if it's a Sasquatch. Hey, man, you in my seat. That was okay. Then you're going to avoid, and then, because I remember when Subriel Matias was saying, he called them all down. He ran it all down when he called one of them pussy, one of them chicken. Yeah, y'all remember that. It was radio silence on the internet. So they saw what they saw what Liam Paro was able to do, and now everybody thinking that the man is food. You know what I'm saying? No, he went up and got a belt and got a strap. But if we're looking at opponents, especially if you're looking at everybody of note with a name, first of all, you're gonna give Loma the credit to be able to say for 7 years, 9 years, 11 years, Tank duck Lomachenko. So Loma get all of that credit. But when it's time to fight and Tank say, okay, cool, and we gotta deduct that he was gonna get paid the most he would ever get paid in his career. He say no pressure. Oh man, Loma, he done fought them all. But then Tank he still has to bear the gravity of not having the quote unquote name. The quote unquote man. He is the man. He is that guy. Shakur, He say, oh man, this Tank gonna hold me up from the belts and talk all this belt talk. And I'm like, hold on, man. Everybody where you at right now on your side of the street, if you didn't leave from over there, everybody on that side, everybody that was on that side over there, y'all had the belts amongst each other. It was a deal, and I know the deal was going to take for you to get one of them. That man is over there on the island alone. You don't go over there with the island. You go somewhere else, and you don't re-sign or get one of these belts. He got a pass. If you wasn't just as loud when I was saying this was out, see, I was loud then. I said, man, this is load management, man. In real time, when I first heard, I said, nah, man, we know what you capable. Nah, man, come on, man. I like Cordina. I said, but come on, man, this is load management, man. Shakur, what are you doing, man? Not right now. Not this right now. We already know it's the Cold War. Let's get it on. We seen what happened with Bud and Spence. But if you wasn't loud then, during the load management phase, then how you so mad at this? Now, why are you so loud now? No, that means you have a double standard. That means you're a narcissist who like to move goalposts. That means you need to be on firm footing where you got your eyes. You're more critical about everybody else than you are of your own person. The guy that you like, the guy that you rock with, the guy that you know what I'm saying, who you infatuated with, the guy whose name is on the back of your jersey. And it don't make no sense. But when you look at T.O. who haven't fought Claggett, he don't got a date. Ryan, he's out. Ice Sock Pitbull Cruz, he got a rematch with Rayo. Shakur, he got injured after a fight with Cordina, and nobody was even loud. I didn't even hear these same people. I didn't even hear anything. When the news came out, when Tim Bradley came out and said that Navarrete had a contract with Shakur's name signed and delivered, never got back. Nobody came on and did nothing. Tim Bradley was the only one who did it. He did it on air during a Baranchek when Baranchek actually won that belt. When this guy right here, the oddball, the guy who the least known guy up here, when that guy won that belt, he said that on air during that time. Nobody said nothing. So I believe it was a Navarrete, and he was either gonna get Loma or Baranchek to at least get unified. Then they were gonna try to probably use some leverage and see what they can get to get more at the table when they went over the Tank, which would have been a great game plan had you stayed over there to get a belt. But nobody said nothing when Tim Bradley broke that news. Nobody said nothing. They ran with it. The fact, I got a 2-fight deal and I'm gonna fight Zepeda, and I was trying to fight Zepeda, and then Zepeda said no. We were trying to come back. We just said, no, let's push it back. Let's not do October. Let's do November. The news, the narcissist, the goalpost movers came out and said, oh, man, Zepeda. Man, I can't believe Zepeda duck. I said, first of all, I've never seen a champion go take a stay busy fight to fight a contender. That was backwards behavior to me. When you hold all the cards in the deck and your promoter are saying that you're the best fighter on the planet, or he think you're a new promoter. And let's not talk about the record-breaking decision making, because all I heard was it was a meeting on Monday, and about a week and a half later, he was walking across the street to go over there. I'm like, you didn't even explore all your options, doggy. His fans didn't say nothing. There was no accountability. There was whatsoever. There was no accountability, no videos. I know. I did a video. I let it go. Because I already peeped the move. Bob got control over that right there. They giving Loma grace. Shakur got grace to be able to go over there and do that. And then when it was found out that Zepeda came back and he dropped the baby in October and he scheduled a fight in November and he getting somebody like Tevin Farmer, I said, oh man, y'all, we ain't gonna call this out. That energy be different. That energy be so different, man. I'm like, we ain't gonna call this out. So in hindsight, when we look at that balls going in holes, soccer balls going in goals, which I like to do over here, body work, nobody said nothing. I kept track of it and all. That's all I always ask. I always say, man, let's just keep that same energy, man. We don't do it. We don't do it. So if you was loud, if you wasn't loud, when you wasn't loud doing this, I don't know how you're so loud right now. When it was found out that this guy right here, the second guy from the left, he said he wanted to have a baby, and then he gonna come back in November, and boom, he going to have a baby, and then he coming back. So the man, well, I think he stopped Duarte. I think that was Duarte. Was that? Yeah, I think that. Yeah, he stopped Duarte. Then gonna go fight Tevin Farmer. Jala at 135, man, his resume is looking like crispier than a lot of people at 135 if you want to keep it all the way a buck. We heard Morataya was on the but see, this is not about that. This is about the lack of accountability when all these moves were made with all these guys. With all these guys. Because everybody thought, they said, oh man, after Frank, they said, oh man, watch he go fight the guy on the far right. They said, watch, he gonna go fight the guy on the far right. De Los Santos, right? And I'm like, well, we just gotta wait and see. I mean, that might be odd. I was like, I mean, who don't want to see that? Everybody want to see that. But at that point in time, after he fought Frank Martin, everybody would say, oh, he's probably gonna go fight De Los Santos, and you know how they gonna do? They gonna try to do the in-house, and they gonna here, and all this other stuff, right? What did Tank do? He reached out to Loma. Loma said, nah. Didn't nobody say nothing. Shakur, he made moves. Didn't nobody say nothing. They just want to sit around and wait for somebody to, a lot of y'all, I can tell a lot of y'all grown men, y'all are like, I've never wanted to call a grown man bougie, but it's a lot of people out here that be talking this boxing that's some bougie ass, like y'all act like some bougie ass men. Bougie and petty and shit like that are not descriptions that should be describing grown men. But y'all act so bougie. So I take it that when y'all go for a job or it's a business opportunity, you go and you express your interest one time, or if they reach out to you, you're gonna have it one time. And if somebody don't reach back out to nothing, there's no professionalism. You're not going to go back and close that door. You're not going to be like, hey, you know, I know at one point in time we were talking about doing this contract. At one point in time, I knew it was an opportunity there. At one point in time, you were looking at having us come in and do this. You just going to ride off into the set to the next one. No, but that's real life. But that's how y'all get online and talk about this boxing talk. Like, it wasn't no responsibility for Shakur to come back and be like, hey, man, I know y'all had reached out, but was y'all good? Because I'm getting ready to go do this. Are you good? Because I'm getting ready to go do this. Right? That's how a lot of people are acting. That's how a lot of people are acting. There's no accountability. None whatsoever. But when it comes down to this guy, it's all the accountability in the world. Now, we're going to keep it straight X's and O's. We're going to keep it straight X's and O's. When you look at this guy, one guy's taking a vacation. One guy might be on witness protection laid up for Keyshawn Davis in Baranchek, which I think that's the path. Shakur, he's laid up with injury. This is the only guy that's actually going to fight another champion. But now it's all he's moving another guy up and he's doing this and doing that. Nobody said nothing when this was going on and this guy was coming off of a knockout loss. Nobody said nothing, even though that guy was a champion who we like, but nobody said nothing when he was moving up. That conversation wasn't even up for discussion. And mind you, this guy that everybody complaining about, Lamont Roach, common opponent with Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring and Shakur fought. They all going to fight at some point in time, and the lines between 35 and 40 are getting blurred each and every day. Why? Because Gustavo Lemos fought Richardson Hitchens at 40. He getting ready to go down because he's a tweener. He's going to fight Keyshawn Davis at 35. Ain't nobody saying nothing. And if we thought about it, if we were shitting, if we had the same standards, then Devin Haney would have never been, Regis would have never been able to offer Devin Haney an option, because Devin Haney would have been moving up, since we can't talk about rehydration and how much they balloon up and all that. The standards are all over the place. What's going on, baby Joker?
What up? What it do?
What's happening?
Shit. Hey, how I take the camera off? This shit ain't letting me do it on here for some reason. It just say you in the show, everybody can see you and hear you.
Yeah, but I got the overlay. They can't see you, but they can hear you. But I'll just keep it like this. Well, they can't see you. I got the overlay up.
Yeah. What's the topic though? It's my first time tapping in.
The topic is, there's a hit list, right? And we knew two people was on a hit list, but the energy was, where's all of these everybody got all this energy for Tank's hit list. And I'm like, listen, man, Roach popped up, that's who they chose, and everybody are outraged. But I'm like, if you look at everything comprehensively, why is there so much outrage about the fact that he chose an opponent that's a champion? And why didn't we have the same energy with the other guys who we supposed to fight when they made their move?
None of them guys fighting. For real, like, if you think about it, like, I'm agreeing with you, like, none of them fighting though. Like, Shakur not fighting, Loma, like, all the people that people were saying, like, if he don't fight them, then they don't want to see it. That's who didn't want to fight him. You feel me? Like, and now he got to fight somebody else, and they like, why he ain't fight this person? Somebody that they never brought up. They never said, we want to see Tank fight Brinchick. Nobody ever said that. Even though he was a champion, that's how you know people bias. They just want to see him fight Shakur or Loma or Devin. That's it.
Exactly. Because now I'm hearing De La Santos. I'm like, where was all these? Because I was going for De La Santos. I got multiple videos. I was one of the first people, before it was a year out. And it's another big channel out here was saying, he was like, hey, yeah, you were the first one I heard say that, because they was on it a year before De La Santos and Shakur came up. I was lining that fight up. It's a track record. But I'm like, where's all these De La Santos fans coming out? Because every time I would do a video about him, they, oh man, he ain't nothing. Just another guy, another hype job. But now you hear a lot about how they calling about De La Santos. I'm like, where did y'all come? Y'all was mad when y'all thought he was going to do it after Frank Martin, but now y'all putting a pit stop in the way, and this guy's a champion.
Yeah, type shit. And then, like, to be honest, I mean, we seen him fight Shakur, but to me, De La Santos, he a good fighter, but I think he's kind of like he's like a El Rayo at 135. To me, he got decent power, he can box, but I mean, I think the fight would be the same way as like Tank and I don't want to say Rolly, because Rolly can't really box like that, but Rolly got some power, you know what I'm saying? But I think it'll end the same way, honestly. Like, you know, it'll go, or I could say even Frank. Like, Frank can box. He got a little pop to his punch and shit. But at the end of the day, I don't really think a lot of these guys can really beat Tank like that. Just because he not fighting him, that don't mean he ducking him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really understand, like, you know, people being so disappointed and they saw that, and then they try to make excuses saying, like, he ain't send no contract.
Right.
Like you can't send a contract without sending the offer.
Right. Like, things like, you know what I'm saying? You can't smash if you don't have no way to contact, or you don't know what hotel we meeting up. Like, you know what I'm saying? People just think that, oh yeah, I'm just going to send you this. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. Why do we forget that when we get online, bro?
Yeah. They think the contract is the last thing to happen, though, to be honest. Like, that's the last thing. Like, we've already agreed. We already did all that. You feel me? Like, that's the last thing, just in writing, what we agreed to. Like, the talks already happened. Like, if Tank reached out to talk to Shakur's team, or whoever on his team reached out, and they said, this is what we're going to do, woo. You know what I'm saying? Him being the A side, Shakur said, nah. I mean, Shakur already said, him and his team already said that they reached out to different promotions when he left Top Rank, right?
Yep.
Didn't he say that? So
Mm-hmm.
like to me, it's like okay, he turned down Oscar De La Hoya. He could have signed to Oscar and fought Zepeda through with Oscar. That's his fighter. But now they talk about him fighting. They still talk about him fighting Zepeda, but you signed a match room. That don't make
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly. See,
You know
you
what I'm
on it,
saying?
man. You on it, and I'm just asking questions. You know, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
why don't we ever keep that same energy?
Yeah, because I'm like, if that's the fights that he wanted, like, I ain't even talking about. I don't even remember what was the dude name he was supposed to fight.
Cordina.
Gordina. Yeah. Okay, you got him, and then it was Zepeda, right? So why is Zepeda even in the? That was bullshit to me because it's like, how can you have that lined up when you not? That's not even a fighter under the same promotion.
Right.
It's
You
not
still got
like
to deal.
Eddie and Oscar don't even fuck with each other.
Right,
Like
you
they
still got
wasn't.
to deal with the wild card and Oscars. What I'm saying, like now the leopard, I guess the leopard changed his stripes because just like Eddie, they got mixed reviews. One day Eddie the savior, the next minute he ain't shit and he a snake. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you
Yeah.
still got the wild card and Oscar, and Oscar is the wild card. If you look back at how he did Virgil and how he protected, I ain't gonna say protected him, but how he managed them. When you look at Zerto Ramirez, he finally popped his cherry. Jaime Munguia finally popped his cherry. Oscar don't just be delivering up and offering up people.
Yeah, he not. He don't have enough to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like when I say enough, he don't have a lot of diversity with his fighters. I mean, that's well known. You know what I'm saying? He ain't really got no black fighters like that. He got what's his name? Schofield, but shit, other than that, that's about it. Like he not about to. Yeah, that shit just didn't make sense to me. Like, how can you say that? Okay, you signed with Matchroom, and then you say these are the two fights that you got lined up, but one of the fighters is not even signed to Matchroom.
Exactly. You have no control. You have, and then you cutting in another man. If you would have went straight up and that's the plan, why not build it with the Golden Boy fighter? Because you could have fought somebody over there on that stable. And you know, in the interim, if y'all was gonna do it in two fights, it would have made better sense to go straight over there, do the minutes with them, fight the one guy, and then do the Zepeda if it was gonna be two fights, and you would have cut out a whole middleman.
Exactly.
Can I-
Or a
And,
couple middlemans if you want to add Sugar Daddy Sheik.
Could I chime in with this?
Salute,
Salute
Yeah.
to everybody on the panel, man. Salute to the chat. I'm just gonna chime in with this if we talking about Oscar right now. At the end of the day, right before when Shakur announced that he was, you know, not renewing with Top Rank, and then the offer was out of him getting the money he was supposed to get for the fight, who came out and made a personal video telling this man, listen, you come over and you sign with me, I promise you, you will get the Zepeda fight. So when y'all talking about doing business with Oscar and opposed to staying over there, Oscar reached out an olive branch to you. If you went that direction and we're looking at, okay, after your so-called hand surgery, you're supposed to come back and take a extremely tough out, knowing that, you know, your hand is just getting good, you're going to now get this fight with a Golden Boy fighter in the name of Zepeda. I'm not buying that bullshit.
Me neither. I wasn't. It's on wax already. I wasn't either. That's why I say we gotta. You did it. You've done it. I've seen you do it, man. I've seen you do it. That's why we're able to talk about boxing so much, because you are a critical thinker. And I'm like, that's what we gotta do. Like, just bump the emotions. Let's just follow the bouncing ball. And a lot of these things just didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? People couldn't put it down because of their fandemonium. And that's what I was trying to say. It's not disrespectful to be called a casual, but if you're a casual, you don't have time to actually sit and really analyze, because you don't really care. You just want your pound of flesh tomorrow, and if not, that's a duck, and that's just not true.
Now, here's the funny thing. I was just on a panel earlier, right? And the host of the show is oh, this fight is a tragedy. It's pathetic. It's what Tank always does. You know, he's always bringing either somebody down or somebody up. Okay, so that's the luxury of being the A side. and being that guy. That's one of the luxuries you have. If you're controlling that division, then that's what it is. You're controlling that division. 135 pounds is owned by Tank Davis. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't accept that, then you can't accept the actual facts and getting out your feelings of saying, all right, let me just look at it from this way. I got 2 fights. Both of these fights are supposed to happen. Both of these fights are on the same night being compared. Who do you pick if you're saying you're a fan of the sport? Do you watch the Tank versus Lamont Roach fight? Or do you watch Shakur versus Cordina? When I'm posing that question, everyone's like, I'd rather see both of them fight. That's not the question. That's not happening. Let's talk about, what was potentially about to happen. Shakur hurts his hand hitting the softest part of somebody's body and he needs surgery. Ergo, I was saying to another dude, you're giving this man all kind of fucking excuses for his hand, but yet you guys cooked Errol Spence for his eye surgery when he didn't have a trainer. They had to renegotiate because they're not fighting for undisputed. And number 3, they didn't even have a network. But you guys still said, oh, Errol did this and Errol did that because he dragged it out. Well, you remember within those days, Errol Spence, within a legal amount of time, he fucking took the rematch, called for it, said, yeah, I want it. But now it's all different. So it's like, bro, same energy argument across the board, bro. Keep the same energy argument. Think outside what these motherfuckers are trying to feed you. You feel what I'm saying? Because I know if you telling me this is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and it smells like fish, I'm not going to believe that that's peanut butter and jelly. And that's where I land my plane. Salute, bro. Your mic is low, body.
Oh, my 2 cents on Tank period is that they hate Tank but stay with his name in their mouths. And Tank can only fight people that they are actually willing to fight him and actually sign the contract. Facts, Cookie Monster.
What do we always say over here, body? Who do we always quote? Don't we always quote Bob Arum? They don't want to fight.
With fighters who don't want to fight him. His twin, what's happening? Body work. Salute everyone. Salute his twin. But yeah, go ahead, baby Joker.
Yeah, nah, I was agreeing with AC though. For real, I was just listening at the time, but yeah, I agree with you, man. For real, like I don't think that. I think that the business side gets the fans confused a whole lot, and some of the fans so biased they don't really want to see what's really going on. And like, I mean, if you look at Tank, you can tell that he's not scared to fight any of these guys. You know what I'm saying? I think that, and when he brought up, or people say that Tank bring up fighters or bring down fighters, I don't really even think that's necessarily true. Like, I think they want to fight Tank because it's gonna make them some money. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like for instance, with this Lamont Roach fight, he's like almost like a last resort. And like, of course, like, and for the team, it's gonna be a good fight for them, regardless. Honestly, no matter what anybody say, no matter what fans say or whatever, it's still gonna be a good fight for Tank. It's a tune-up. It's not like he fighting like a bum. Lamont Roach not even a bum. He's in a lower weight class. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. And it's not like Haney and all these other guys haven't fought smaller guys.
Right. That's another thing. I said, man, they don't even consider the fact that he's the smallest out of them all. But remember it was a whole lot of backlash when the little social media stuff was going back between him and Conor Bennett. Oh man, here go Tank. He's always, but they really wanted to see that, and they wanted him to go, oh man, he gonna have to go to 47. It's like, but you don't have that same energy for Deb to go fight Boots. You don't have that energy for Deb to go, and that's his size. These guys, he's the smallest out of them all, and I thought that pound for pound was like, look, man, I could drop down and see like what he did when he went down and fought Leo Santa Cruz and then jumped over and then fought Mario Barrios. Like, if it was that easy, your favorite fighter, whoever's favorite fighter, would be doing it. And that's why I be trying to say, like, keep the same energy, because you can't slam him. You can't slam him in every single. But I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. I'm gonna stop the bullshit. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. When people hate on Tank, they're showing a blind allegiance. It's almost like I pledge allegiance to United States of Tank hate, like, because that's the signal to say, hey, listen. It's just like when people just start putting on knee pads and throat coat for Canelo after analyzing all his moves. It's like you would do that, and you would say that to broadcast to people like, hey, I'm with them. Like, you have this veiled allegiance to say, hey, anything Canelo do, I'm with, but anything that Tank do, I hate. Like, and that's going to get you. That'll get you in a lot of doors with a lot of people, and these allow you to get on the panel, allow you to be able to, because they know you're gonna scoop up some shit and you're gonna sling it at them. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna contribute.
And I be going on their channels too, and
now,
I be getting on the yard with them too.
now here's the funny part. This is what I told old boy earlier. I said, here's the thing. You got people who are Shakur fans, who I call Shakur whisperers, Bud whisperers, Tank whisperers. They want to whisper everything people do and be able to translate for them, right? Mm-hmm. I said, but here's the thing. Not sometimes, when these guys do things like that, what happens is you don't like the other fighters just because you like that guy that much. It's built in with it. I like Tank, or I'm gonna say I like Shakur, so anything that Tank does is automatically a problem. Oh, Shakur's doing this, so that's a problem because it's not matching what Tank does. The way I see Tank, I see Tank do, or Tank. I have a problem with Tank because I'm not looking at what Shakur's doing, and it's like, okay, explain to me what exactly is Shakur doing, and explain to me what exactly is Tank doing wrong. Is he not fighting a champion? Yes, but he's bringing a guy up. How do you bring a guy up when the guy's interview said, I had made intentions on going to 35, but timing and opportunity came, so I'm going to take advantage of that? How are you pulling a guy up when guy's going to sign a contract and he said this is what he was going to do?
I'll tell you what it is, though. A lot of these haters, they always bring up like, oh, Tank fans always want to talk about his money. Now, how is it that we always want to talk about his money? If we mention something about business, then you saying that we pocket watching. But the fact is, they really jealous that Tank is making all this money and he's not fighting the fighters that they want to see him fight. Like, how can you be mad at that? Like, he's still gonna make the money regardless. You can't be mad at the man making his money.
So you ask one of these guys a simple question based on what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
You ask them this one simple question: is Shakur giving you the fights that you want to see from Shakur?
They'll lie. They're gonna lie. They're gonna say
no. See, they're gonna say no. It's not that. It's because everybody's ducking Shakur. Don't nobody want to fight him. So this is why we're not getting the fights that we want to get from Shakur.
Yeah, and I don't. Maybe if they ducking Shakur, it's because it's gonna be a boring fight. They're not gonna. And I think these boxers care more about the money than we think they do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if they fight Shakur, it's not gonna sell just because of the body of work that he's put out already.
You are hard sell. That's why you are hard sell, because public perception is not on your side.
Exactly.
In 2024, 2023, public perception is reality. I accepted that. This is why it allowed me to, go from one perspective. You feel what I'm saying? And then really start to think once these questions was posed to me, and I was like, I can't answer it as a fan. Once these questions were posed to me that I really couldn't answer from the perspective I was holding, I had to just say, all right, that equation doesn't explain the nature of the universe.
It's a lose-lose, to be honest. It's a lose-lose. Because they probably
Yes.
already feel like they're gonna lose to Shakur.
So if you got to start to ask you got to start to ask yourself the question. All right, if the way I'm thinking is, and I'm supposed to be, like a astrophysicist, theoretical physicist about this boxing shit. If the equations that I'm using don't tell me the equation of everything, and I can't get to the God particle with this shit, then obviously none of this math works. I have to rethink and start with new math.
The
And
math
see
ain't
what
math.
other scientists are proposing. And if this guy's proposing something that answers it, all right, let me start with him. Yeah, I see what he sent. Now I see this guy. Now I see what he sent. Now you could start to be in a real conversation with people who are actually trying to find the reason for everything, why we all exist. Why is this boxing the way it is? Why don't we get the fights that we want to get? Why is it so simple for us to get on panels or certain panels and then start to immediately go after each other's throats?
Yeah. And then my thing is too, I don't want to hold y'all up too long, but my thing is too is like when this conversation is being had, a lot of these people are saying like they throwing out names that was never in the conversation, like Keyshawn Davis. Like I don't have a doubt in my mind that would be a decent fight, but is it realistic? Like he already got a fight next month, right? You know what
I'm big
saying?
on Keyshawn. I'm big on Keyshawn.
I like Keyshawn.
And Keyshawn will
love
get
Keyshawn.
his ass whipped right now. He's stepping in the ring with Tank, and I like Keyshawn.
Exactly.
Keyshawn is just trying to prove himself with the fight that's coming up. What the fuck do you niggas mean? Oh, why isn't he fighting Keyshawn? The motherfucker's just getting his coming out situation.
Exactly.
That
It's not
tells
even the
you
right time.
Who is Lamont Roach? Lamont Roach has a belt.
Exactly.
Why is it to the why are you shifting and moving the goalposts like a fucking narcissist to tell me about Keyshawn Davis, who's having his official coming out situation? You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And this guy has a belt with defenses on that belt, and you motherfuckers got what? But you guys got no problem with Cordelia, the same motherfucker with the loudest, with the loudest platforms and the loudest mouths and the biggest couch. I'm quoting my man Bodywork with that one. You know what I'm saying? With the biggest couches, you niggas is screaming, why isn't Tank doing X, Y, and Z? You know exactly why. Because once we start telling you, all right, Zepeda is this, Moratala is that, Bernacek is this, Loma is that. You feel what I'm saying? Shakur is this. Oh, what? Oh, I don't even care about all of that. I'm just asking you the question. Okay, what question are you asking me if you're telling me you have selective shit you care about? I'm not being selective. I'm just telling you the facts. What facts are you telling me other than the facts that was just repeated to you, where you just heard where all the top fighters are busy? Yeah, but the 35 division is deep. You got Keyshawn, you got Abdullah Mason. You seriously think Tank is gonna pull up Keyshawn or Abdullah Mason, and then what y'all gonna say if he does that?
This could be even worse. It's the same thing they're gonna do with Frank Martin. When I look at Frank Martin, because it's the same thing they doing it with Andy Cruz, they doing it with Frank Martin. It was somebody else that's in Shushu.
Yeah,
Shushu was a little older and he started a little late, but he's getting all of the praise and he get to call out somebody like Inoue, and they like, yeah, man, I like that. I'm like, and I'm gonna draw a couple ones. See, the fact that Shushu can say Inoue, right, and get away with that, even though Inoue he's in his 5th weight class, he has titles in 4 divisions, he's back-to-back undisputed, and it's okay for Shushu, who has never smelt a belt, to call him out and say he'll do this and this and that, which will be Inoue's 6th division, right? Then the other standard is when Canelo Alvarez chose Edgar Berlanga after David Morrell was sitting in that WBA mandatory spot since 2020, he's been defending that spot. And that's why Rodney Shields called him El Sicario. He's saying, man, this is like Canelo's personal bodyguard. He sat in that spot for all them years. He moved up when David Benavidez moved up because he said he wants David Benavidez. That's the action that you would want as a fan. Like, okay, that means he really wanted this. Like with this guy here for boxing, what he talking about? That kind of action that Morrell did. He's chasing Benavidez. Oh, you moving up? Well, I'm right behind you. And I've been fighting these mandatories, and I got a quote unquote secondary belt and all that. He's doing that. He get the narcissists, the people that with the speaker boxes and the big couches. They say nothing about that. They get in between the fight. When the fight was announced that it might happen, they came out and said every blood clot thing you could imagine to get between that fight. And I said, listen, man, we're not talking to real boxing fans right now.
Yeah.
So these are the standards. So they gave Edgar Berlanga a parade. And Edgar Berlanga was able to come out there and say that Tank can't go to Puerto Rico. He can't do this. And they came out and they was shitting on Tank, talking about, oh, man, look at him, man. I'm like, hold on, listen, man. Your dude never tasted a belt. He got skunked 12-0. He was bragging about fighting a heavyweight and Anthony Joshua after that. And y'all on here with this loud-ass speaker box shitting on Tank. And Tank getting ready to fight a champ. But that's why I say, they're not going to appreciate Tank till he hang the gloves up. And in the age well games, all this shit going to age like fine wine. Because if you look at a lot of the moves in real time, just like when you look at some of them fights, you know how sometimes you look at a fight and when you first see it, you like, ah, man. But then you go back and you look and you see more and more things in it to where it's like, damn, man, I like watching that because I seen this and I seen it's just like a good ass movie where you be like, damn, I ain't even peeped that. That's how his fights age. But we got a guy. Let me address this guy here for boxing. And I said this was a relaxed. You can see the description right here for boxing. You can see the description right down here. I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna give you your attention right now. But the link is out there. I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of going back and forth with you in the comments section. It says open discussion, open format, message from bodywork, air your grievances, be respectful, share the floor, agree to disagree when possible. Don't lie. So he says, Tank fans always tell you what Tank would do to this person and that person. When you say, okay, push for the fight, Tank fans get all bothered by it. Okay.
Bring him up.
So I don't know. I put the link out there. You know what I'm saying? It's out there for you to click here for boxing. It's an open invite. But let me tell you, I don't get hot and bothered. I just say that, okay, what define push for the fight? You mean reaching out to Lomachenko and saying, hey, what's up? And you say, oh, no, it's family time. You know what I'm saying? We got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. Or Shakur, who goes across the street and does a record-breaking get off of Top Rank and jumps over on the Matchroom in line for his payday in record time. Out there, it's probably about, what, 18 days? 18 days? Yeah, from initial talk to not only ink drive, but a press conference.
Yeah, I got something to say to him too.
Go ahead here for boxing. It's your time to shine, B.
All right, so we could get for me, right? First of all, good evening, y'all. How y'all feeling?
Good evening.
What's up?
Salute, bro.
So this is my first thought with the whole Gervonta Davis conversation. I think that a lot of people are not understanding what Gervonta did to himself a couple months back, and I'll explain. When Turki Al-Sheikh reached out to him and they were talking about making a fight, he told Turki that I need 2 Ferraris to talk to you. So in response to that, he's like, no, I'll give you 2 boxing gloves. And the problem with that is that everyone wants Tank to fight is kind of under Turki Al-Sheikh in a way. If he's not under them, they're in a partnership. It's Matchroom, Top Rank, Golden Boy, and Turki. They're all working together. It's obvious. Anyone who knows what's going on can see it. So when Tank made them remarks to him, okay, now who you going to fight? Because you ain't going to fight none of these guys from these 3 promotions because they're not going to forsake Turki and they're not going to do it without his blessing. The Loma thing was never going to happen. They dangled Loma in front of Tank to check.
He went out.
Oh, sorry, my bad. So when all those years when Loma wanted to fight Tank, they showed no interest in it. Now Loma's 36 years old. It's okay, let's fight Loma now. Bob ain't giving Loma to Tank at 36, 37 years old. He'll never do that. It was never going to happen. It was a temperature check. And sure enough, he wanted to fight, and then they snatched it away. Loma was never not in the mood. He just wasn't going to fight him. Not at this stage in his life. So Tank did this to himself. This was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He did himself dirty when he told Turki, get out his face.
Because so what about Shakur?
Shakur is over there with them. Everybody's over there with them.
With who?
With Eddie. Shakur's with Eddie.
He chose that, though. You act like he been with him.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he choose Eddie? Everybody
If he
has the
wanted to
right,
fight Tank, why he ain't go talk to PBC?
because
Fuck
nobody.
the
And this
Tank.
is
Fuck the Tank conversation.
okay.
Why didn't he go talk to Al?
Let's be serious here. The PBC is
Come
a
on,
sink.
bro.
It's a sinking ship, bro. Why did Boots leave the PBC? I mean, he wasn't with the PBC. He was dealing with Showtime. You would think that the PBC had an inside line.
But the PBC just gave us
So what?
two Caleb Plant fights. They
So
gave us
what?
two Caleb Plant fights. You feel what I'm saying? We got tank fights coming up. I'm not understanding how it's going down when they're still making fights and having cards that people actually are tuning into. But the question I'll just leave it right there.
Well, my question
If you
for
want to
here,
ask me a
Kabasi.
question, by all means, feel free, bro. I'll answer what I can answer.
No, I mean, well, not a question, but I guess a retort. I guess I'm not gonna get into a pissing contest with you about whether or not you think Loma was ducking. You know what I'm saying? I just think that it's pretty peculiar how you'll understand how, because history shows us that those guys who had those belts over there on Top Rank, we'll see how it went down between like T.O. and Loma, and when Devin got over there, he got Cambosis, which was through that guy from New York. He intervened, but those belts have been over there being cycled around. Even Josh Taylor holding it down and being under Bob's Arum's thumb. So it's funny how we observe and we'll acknowledge that when Bob got you under his thumb, just like when he got in the way of Bud getting Manny and he didn't want to give Manny up to Bud, like that whole scenario, it's like, we are creatures of habit. And it's been no secret that them belts has been over there on Top Rank, and it was only a certain period of time where Bob actually even showed an interest, and the only interest he really showed was one time when I heard him say that it could be T.O. and Tank on a pay-per-view. But that's before T.O. really started showing like really heavy like bipolar shit activity. That was the only one he was really going to be offered to give up. So I don't really get in a pissing contest. I'll let you, if you want to say Tank duck because he was over there under Floyd and Floyd was playing that game, and then because they often bring up the whole time, well, I'll make you fight Loma, and they'll do that. So if you want to, if you're still eating off of that, you know what I'm saying, if you still fulfilled off of that, I'll let you have that. Well, I'm a guy like this. I'm just saying, okay, yesterday was yesterday and today is today, and we always full of opportunity. How do you get the privilege of saying that I ducked you for, because the number keep growing, 5 years, 7 years, whatever the years you let's just say take duck Loma for 9 years, and he finally say, all right, I'm ready to shit'll get off the pot. I'm ready to take a shit. I'm the big dog. What's up? And you say I'm gonna go do something else. I've been relieved. But y'all won't let it go. Y'all still gonna say, oh no, that's your fault. You waited. That's old fruit. That's all. But see, we'll move these goalposts when it come down to age and all this, because Terrence Bud Crawford is older than Lomachenko. You see what I'm saying? And then also, this is the other thing. I always use this analogy. I say, man, I don't go to 7-Eleven looking for furniture. And I wouldn't go to Taco Bell looking for an oil change. So in one breath, we got Shakur Stevenson going over to Matchroom, and people keep including Turkey, but I hear nothing about Turkey. I hear a 2-fight deal he signed to Matchroom, and they be thinking that Sugar Al-Rashid going to sprinkle something on it. But I have yet to see an example of where money was a problem, and Turkey Al-Rashid came in and said, okay, we got the money, and now we're getting the fight. He just gets credit for being able to have that bag. But I have yet to see an example of where they said, you know what, money, the only thing holding this up. All right, well, cool. Here go the bag. And now we getting it because Turkey provided the bag. But he's going over there to Eddie. He's not with Turkey. He's going over there to Eddie on a 2-fight deal to get Cordina, which is a Matchroom guy, and then getting the Zepeda, which is a Golden Boy guy. He's not signed to either one of them. But he's going over to 7-Eleven trying to get some Popeye's fried chicken and Tank. And I'm saying we don't keep the same energy when it comes down to the moves that they're making. I'm not like fuck what they saying online. Fuck, I'm the baddest man. I'm in the mess hall with my chest out. What do your actions show? Because if a broad call me up, if you a dime piece, because think about it like this. It was noted that Tank reached out to him. If a dime piece reached out to you and said, "Hey man, here for boxing," you know what I'm saying? I'm interested. And you like, "Oh, okay, well shit, I was gone. I had went to the store when you called and you got the message." Your people said, "Hey man, this badass broad called you, man. You remember Shorty, Redbone up the street, remember? Yeah, 411. Yeah, she called you, man." "Oh, okay, cool. Well, shit. All right, I'll get back with her. I'll see what she got going on." And the next thing you know, you laid up at the Holiday Inn with, you know what I'm saying, whatever else. It's like, is it is it her fault, or do you say, "Hey, I seen that you had reached out before I go over here. I got, I had already had plans this weekend, but what's going on? Are we gonna get this on?" That's how real life works. This online shit and boasting about who did what and who did this, that's different.
So
I'm just that's where I come from it with, like, where are you gonna let these other guys take some of this responsibility too? Because I can't fuck if you ain't showing up to the hotel.
So let me ask you this question. All right, so as regarding Shakur Stevenson going to the PBC, all right, we know Terrence Crawford is Shakur's, like, that's Shakur big homie. Everybody know that. From the way I see it, Terrence did not have a pleasant experience dealing with the PBC before they made the fight, during the build-up, and even after the fight. It was there wasn't really a pleasant experience for Terrence. So if you got Shakur looking up to Terrence is going to tell Shakur, "Yo, we don't fuck with them. We ain't messing with them niggas. Like, you going to go over here, do your thing over here, and if they want to fight, then they'll find a way to meet in the middle." But if I'm anybody who's trying to make a fight and I'm not with the PBC, I'm not going to the PBC. Because we see how they take care of their own, and we see a lot of content creators constantly brag about how the PBC is going to take care of their own. So why would I sign with a company for a 2-fight deal, knowing that I'm gonna get dragged through the ringer? Look what happened with Terrence with the Spence rematch. He was out of the ring for 10, 11 months because of that shit. 14 months.
Well, I got a more recent example because check this out.
I'm just saying that Terrence was out of the ring for so long, and he even got the blame for the rematch not happening, even though everybody knew Errol didn't want that shit. He didn't want that rematch.
You would have a point. You would have a point if people wasn't saying the same thing about Eddie Hearn, but he went and signed to him.
But he don't have no bad blood with him.
Yeah, but let me.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say this. When you talk about people are under the sheet because they work for these companies, when you really look at what's been going on, these Riyadh seasons are fights that the Sheik wants to see. You feel what I'm saying? Some of them are fights that he's looking at because the fans are talking about it and stuff like that. And these fights had troubles getting across the finish line and shit like that. But the Sheik, you feel what I'm saying, threw Shakur a bone when it came down to the Cordelia fight. He threw him a bone to put him on a Riyadh card because of Bud Crawford. Other than that fight, nobody's going to pay for that fight. It was elevated to being the pay-per-view main event, and everyone started to be like, "Oh no, why would they do that?" The price was dropped on the pay-per-view. Yes, the Sheik said, "Listen, if we go by volume, we can make more money and more consistent money because we'll have more people tuning in for $15 than $60 or $80. That's just business." You feel what I'm saying? But the point
let me interject with this. Let me interject with this for boxing, because I like to use more updated, because people get caught up in history, but the most recent account for how PBC operates shows you that Canelo Alvarez was signed with PBC, and he fought a guy in Mongear who was signed with who? Golden Boy. And then he turned right back around being with the PBC, and then he fought a guy signed with who? Matchroom. Okay, so these examples of how working with the PBC, you ain't gonna do this and do that. No, when you come to the table and you're about business and this is what you really want, it's going to happen. Why? Because these fights are just add water. So these are the most, I don't want to get caught up in Bud, because that's almost like a straw man where you'll build that up and get sidetracked. This don't have nothing to do with this. This track record showed that the most recent event we had was where Canelo Alvarez, who people be calling the face of boxing, was able to go over to the PBC and fight a guy that was with Golden Boy. And then he fought a guy calling the shots. He fought a guy that was with Matchroom. And to address your first point, which was the two Ferraris, if you out and about and you a player and you got that whole philosophy like it ain't pimping if you got it, You know what I'm saying? And all this, and you out here flexing your wad, and you out here, you on a stroll, you out here, Big Bank Hank, and you see a bad broad, and you letting her know, hey man, I got this, I got that, and she say, all right, well, cool, give me this Chanel bag, give me this, and then we'll talk. Show me, don't talk my head off. That's all it was doing. Everybody put a lot of weight on it when Tank did it, but he's like, man, send me 2 Ferraris. You got the history of what he did for Lil Wayne. You got the history of all these expensive, the shit he did for Lil Baby. You got the history of all that, but it's like, okay, listen, don't talk my head off. Tell me what you're talking about, and then, okay, cool, because this, I'm gonna close out on this. Bob Arum also, I mean, I'm not Bob Arum, but PBC, quote unquote, also just had David Benavidez and David Morrell fight on the Sheik card, and as far as I'm concerned, they were still affiliated with PBC. So all of those things about what can happen and what can't happen and what's going on with Sheik, all of that shit is irrelevant based on a certain fighter. The facts show that the most recent examples have been the highest paydays, because it's been Canelo Alvarez twice, and we also seen 2 PBC fighters get it on with the Sheik too, and he's been letting people cross the street. So to me, I see some of that is like cannon fodder, man. You want to be upset. A lot of people want to be upset. They want to be stuck in this rut, and they want to just they want to be stuck right there in that spot. I've moved on. I'm looking at recent facts, like balls going in holes, soccer balls going in goals.
Let me ask you this though. Let's be honest. You don't feel like this partnership between them is kind of indirectly directed at Tank and the PBC, trying to take some control back of what the PBC has historically done with Gervonta Davis at the negotiating table, where it's take it or leave it? We don't have to take it or leave it no more, because there's money elsewhere now. Our B-level guy can fight another B-level guy in a big promotion on the sheet card, and we'll call it a day. And then Tank can go fight Lamont Roach, and after this he'll fight Chris Colbert, and after this he'll fight Pitbull again. Like, there's nothing out there for him. Everything he wants is across the street.
Go ahead, baby.
So by that logic, shouldn't Tank sign across the street?
No.
Since that's what
but go ahead, baby Joker. No, he shouldn't. But go ahead, baby Joker.
But that's what
Right,
Section Core should have did.
Real quick. To your point. Who was the last card? Was Terrence Crawford? Didn't he fight on Turkey's card?
Yeah, August 3rd.
Okay, so if you look at that, I think it was that card. Correct me if I'm wrong. There were a lot of PBC fighters on that card.
There was Ray. I was there. There was Rayo. There was Pitbull. Who else was there? Is Jarrell Miller? Is he PBC or not?
I mean, it was quite a few. I can't remember, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, I think that everybody else is trying to, they're trying to work with Turkey. They don't have a lot of big money fights. If you really want to be honest, like, the PBC held that card up. Other than Terrence Bud, like, I mean, who else? Like, who else were they really coming to see, bro?
So this is my position.
I mean, there was some good fights. Don't get me wrong, there were some good fights. But
so the
Go ahead.
PBC doesn't have enough fight dates to showcase all their talent. So they simply leased a couple fighters out to Turkey. They got a bag for it. The fighters made a bag. The PBC didn't have to pay anything. They made some money off of it, so it makes sense.
Yes, and that's the same thing they would do with another promotional company.
I'm talking about when it comes to Gervonta Davis, Tank is going to have a hard time getting fights that people want to see now, until he learns to sit down and play nice and stop talking shit to people.
But whose fault is that?
Gervonta's. He got to humble himself.
How? If he can make it work with Turkey, why can't he make it work with the other promotions? If they're working with them.
If you giving Turkey your ass to kiss, the other three not going to fuck with you.
Well, I'm not understanding how you make that connection, because
I don't understand.
At the end of the
day,
the Turk doesn't control Top Rank. He doesn't control the Zone. He does not control Queensberry Promotion.
No, but he has influence.
But he's still allowing the fights to happen.
Only for
but I think when it comes to Tank, I think when it comes to Gervonta, you're going to see a different approach or a different result than you're seeing from everything else. I think Gervonta is going to have a hard time getting a fight.
But
okay,
it's not
so
just
let me ask you this
Gervonta,
question.
it's Canelo too, because they have the money.
Yeah, that's
bro.
what I was going to bring in, because Canelo told them, listen, you don't talk to me this way. Nobody talks to me this way. I'm Canelo Alvarez.
Who generates more money though, Gervonta or Canelo?
See, it's the same energy. Hey, I hate to say this here for boxing, but you in the vein of a lot of the same, like, crazy arguments. First of all, you can't really. I don't really like the fact that you can't put them two guys in the same sentence. But everything Canelo do, who else everywhere they go is selling out the game?
Canelo
Who
is
else?
the face of boxing, not Gervonta.
Okay,
Canelo
but still, even with that said, you can't see this is a fallacy that I hear a lot of people doing. Either you're gonna compare him and Canelo and you're gonna give them both their just due for it, or you're not. But don't use Canelo, because who else is going to San Antonio, Atlanta, Vegas, the Barclays, set a record in his own in DC? Like, who else? What other fighter is doing that?
All right, let me ask you this. All right, I'm gonna kill that argument right now.
No, but you'd be
Canelo
doing the
has more-
typewriter. You
hold
done
on,
did the typewriter on me like 4 times. Like you just move on to something else. I'm gonna let you go.
I'm going to address your point right now. Canelo has multiple options at 168 and even 175 if he chose to within the PBC. You got David Morrell, you got David Benavidez. You have people there for him to fight. Who's Tank's options at 135 and 140 that anybody cares to see after this fight? Who does he have to fight from the PBC?
Listen. Tank still has the option. Let's not get what you
I'm
call
asking within Tank's promotion, who can he fight that anybody cares to see?
Okay, so now you're gonna add within this
No,
promotion.
that was my question the whole time. That's what I said about Canelo. Canelo has PBC options. Tank really doesn't have a PBC option that anybody cares about.
But the point is, I don't think it really matters if it has to be within the PBC, because he's such a big star. He can work with these other people if they want to. If they want to fight, you've seen it. If they want to make some money, they will feed these fighters to make that money.
He doesn't come to the table with the same power he had a year ago. He doesn't have the same control because somebody else has a bag now.
Who?
Turkey.
Yeah, but the argument you're making.
No, here for boxing. That's an opinion. But you can ride. We don't do opinions. We're doing facts. But that's an opinion. We'll let you ride with your opinion. That's not a fact what you just said. But carry on.
I'm saying Tank is fighting Lamont Roach because there's no one else to fight. He's not going to fight at 140 because it's going to be a bad look if he goes to 140. There's nobody at 35, and then he got to pull somebody from 130. There's nobody there for him to fight. That's why he's fighting Lamont Roach.
Why would it be a bad look? Listen, here for boxing.
Because they said he was too small for 140.
No, because you hear it now. He could go and do Gary Russell.
Leonard just said that. Tank he's not going to fight at 140 anymore. He's comfortable 135. He could even make 130. So that was him saying he's not going to 140. When Devin was at 140, he had no interest in going to 140. Come on, man.
Okay. So now you having it both ways. So what is it?
Yeah.
You asked me who could he go there to fight, and then you tell me what Leonard said.
But Devin been bigger though. Y'all
Devin was at 140, and Gervonta could not make 140 from what Leonard said.
But the Devin fans will sit here and tell you that he was drained the entire time he was at 35.
So can I ask old boy this question? Shakur, I hear your argument for Tank, but I'm asking this question. When you look at the landscape of all the champions, right? 2 of the champions are down with Top Rank. 1 champion is down with PBC. Shakur Stevenson is signed to DAZN. Which one of these fighters that are in the top 3 is also signed to DAZN that Shakur Stevenson can fight, that's within his stable? Since you're asking it and you're so adamant about getting an answer about
you talking about Shakur and DAZN?
Yes.
That's a good point.
Shakur can make a fight with other promotions because they're all working under one umbrella.
What? No, they're not. They're all still separate
They're
entities.
under one umbrella. They're all under
So why
umbrella
is the PBC working with Turkey?
You can
What
Google
umbrella
it.
is that? What
You
umbrella
can Google it. They're all partners, bro.
No, you said the umbrella. I'm just asking you to tell me what it is.
The umbrella
Because this is your information.
Turkey is the umbrella. And
he said Riyadh season, but let me checkmate this real quick. Let me checkmate this.
All you got to do is Google.
Look, this is what he's talking about.
Crazy.
See, he's saying under the umbrella of Riyadh because they all done signed that. They signed that thing to where they can all be. Riyadh season can occur everywhere. But newsflash, Bob Arum had already said, and it's already a fight in several fights that went down, doing or illustrating the same thing. Bob Arum said, listen, he think that Amazon Prime would work as long as PBC didn't make everything a pay-per-view. And Bob Arum referenced this for anybody listening and want to go back and do their homework and their research. He said, because we've already seen it done with Naoya anyway. Mind you, Stephen Fulton was able to go over there and fight anyway, and that was under Prime. That's the same situation that Riyadh got, to where that's just a platform, and they've already agreed that they can get down. The big thing is when the money is right. So it's the same thing that Prime got, where Fulton was able to fight anyway on Prime.
Excellent point.
It's the same thing.
Same exact
What I'm
goddamn
saying-
thing.
I'm not saying cross promotion can't happen. Cross promotion is a thing in boxing. What I'm saying is the PBC and Gervonta Davis no longer hold every single card at the bargaining table. Nobody has to kiss their ass anymore because there's other ways to make money now. There's another place
And
to
it
get
sounds
money
like you
from.
more okay. So that's a good thing. That made it to where okay.
It's not a
it
good
might
thing
not
for
be-
Gervonta.
Huh?
It's not a
Yes.
good thing for Gervonta.
How?
Because if other fighters be like, listen, I can make $1 million fighting on the Riyadh season card. I don't have to fight Tank for 800,000. Fuck it, I'm
But
gonna
you
go
got
over
to
and
build yourself up to a Riyadh card. It's not a guarantee you end up on a Riyadh card. You
Yeah, it's
need a
not
name.
like
you
you
need
ain't
the
Anthony
sheet to
Joshua
notice
or
you.
nothing.
Am I
That's a
saying that
lottery
everybody? Am I saying that everybody gets that? No, but Teofimo can
Just
get a Riyadh
basically,
season
that's
card.
what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
Basic-
I'm saying so you have all you need to do is be established. Everybody who they say Tank wants to fight is established. They can get Shakur can get on Riyadh season. Devin can get on Riyadh season. Teofimo can get on Riyadh season.
But the question is, why hasn't that happened? Why haven't
Why
we
wasn't-
seen the fights you talking about, like Teofimo and who else? When
You
the
said
last
why
time
hasn't
Teo
it
fought?
happened? Teo's in litigation with Top Rank. I don't know what's going on with Teo.
Exactly,
But
but,
he also
you
just-
said Turkey
he
was the
also-
umbrella.
Well, that don't mean they're going to fight today or tomorrow.
Yeah, but
it
I mean,
can
but
happen.
you're saying that he's in litigation with Top Rank.
Okay, let me.
Okay.
Who has the easier time getting on the Riyadh season card? Teofimo or Tank? Teo will.
Why?
I can't, I
Why?
can't
Why?
say that.
Man, listen, man.
Because
I
he's
can't
with
say
Bob
that.
and Bob
I
is
can't
fighting with
say
Turkey
that
right
because
now.
Teo.
man.
Listen, bro, I can't say that because history tells us Riyadh told that man, "We'll give you $20 million," whether that was true or not. Turk was looking to work with him. I have no words. I've never
And
heard
what did
any
Tank
word
say when they?
about
I'm glad you
Turk
brought that up.
specifically saying
what-
he wants to do something big with Teofimo Lopez.
And what did Tank say in response to that 20 million? When Eddie DM Tank and said, "Hey Tank, let's talk." What did Tank say? No.
Yeah, so he has every right. If he has a deal, if he has a deal with a multi-billion-dollar a year company, which just did a big fight, just like you just heard, between Inoue and Fulton, you feel what I'm saying? I don't necessarily need the Riyadh money because I got Amazon behind me.
So you
the
can't tell me I
biggest
can't have it
company
both ways.
in
And you
the
trying to
fucking
have it both
world.
ways now.
No, that
Now
is
you
the
want to have
biggest
it both.
company.
Now you want
I'm
to
not
have it both
having
ways.
it both ways. I'm just trying to express to you
Because you
an
can't say
actual fact.
you can't sit there and say that Tank sit and keep dismissing these people, and when they reach out to him like, "Yo, we got 20 million
But
for
that
you,"
money-
no, fuck out my face. Yo, let's make a fight. I need
I
two
bet. I'm
Ferraris.
gonna
That
put
Riyadh
here for
shit ain't
boxing.
gonna last forever, bro. It ain't gonna
Here for
last
boxing.
forever.
Here for boxing. I'm gonna put it like this, man. Basically, let's put it like this: Tank and the PBC and Turkey are two conglomerates. Tank that is not going to go outside of his promotion and not even really go outside and work with Turkey if he doesn't have to. Why would he do that? He's going to make more money within his own company that he has been with for years.
Has the PBC ever given Tank a $20 million guarantee with pay-per-view?
But
the
you
back
getting into guarantees and stuff like
You
that.
talking
I
about
don't play that
guarantees.
game, man.
Because if they saying if they
You ain't
told
gonna
him
play
if
that
you wanna-
game, no.
Hey, look, hey, body work. Listen, hey, guarantee. Tank is guaranteed. He's gonna make a bag, bro. How much did he make versus Ryan,
right.
bro?
So if Turkey say to him, "Listen, I got 20 million for you up front to fight Devin whoever, and then you'll get pay-per-view back in." You know how much money Tank will make, bro? Make $50 million. So why don't you
But
want
you
to
just asked the
What
question.
he made, but let me let Coach Eddie get in here, man. And see what
Well,
he
look,
got
I'm
to add.
gonna back off because I'm gonna leave out because I'm at work. I gotta get a little bit done. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right,
Great
man.
talking
Make sure
to
you
you, bro.
subscribe to
Enjoy
the
your
channel.
weekend,
Salute.
Make sure you
Salute,
subscribe to the
salute,
channel,
bro.
Oh, you already know. I got y'all.
Hopefully,
Y'all be
we'll
safe,
see
man.
you on the panel again, bro.
All right, man.
Oh yeah, I'll be back for sure. Y'all be safe, fellas.
All right, man.
All right now.
Coach Eddie, man, what's good, Coach Eddie? Salute.
What's going on? Salute, body work. Salute to everybody on the panel. I'm having a hard time. Oh, AC. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't make out the
Baby
word.
Joe.
But salute, baby. Okay, yeah, salute,
Salute.
my brother. you know, the bad thing is, man, is that we in here, instead of talking about getting the fight that we want, we talking about money, man. You know, we talking about like we furniture, we being fanagers right now. I don't care nothing about the money, man. See, at the end of the day, I don't know how good Tank is. I don't know how good Shakur is. I don't know how good Devin is. I don't know how good none of these guys is because they not fighting the best. We can't crown these guys and just say, oh, we automatically know you gonna win, so we don't need to make that fight. These guys are nowhere near the four kings. Talk about Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran had to go up and get these guys. You know, we ain't talking about Tank. I know some Tank fans out there. It is what it is. Call a spade and a ball a ball. Roberto Duran went up and got these guys. He started career off at 135, jumped up to 147, jumped up to 160, even fought Iran Barkley and beat him. That's how great he was. These guys today, these guys aren't great, man. I mean, I understand that they looking at the fighters of old and seeing how they turned out. You know, a lot of them guys turned out. The health was bad. You know, they didn't have a lot of money at the end of their career. I understand all that. So these guys right now, they're more moving strategically and more like businessman, which, hey, I can't knock you on that either because it is your life. You know what I'm saying? And you want to maximize your earning potential. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit up here. I'm not going to even put these guys in the same conversation or category as some of the guys that came before them because I don't know how good Tank is. Does he pass the eye test? Yes, he passed the eye test. Has he fought elite competition? No. Devin got beat by Ryan Garcia. So how good is Devin Haney? How good is Shakur? Shakur ain't fought nobody, no elite competition. None of these guys are fighting elite competition. They're all strategically moving and they're handpicking their fights. You know, and I know that's part of boxing, but at some point in time, you got to challenge yourself. You got to actually get in a fight that you can actually lose. You like with Andre with that Super 6 tournament, Andre Ward was the underdog. He got in that tournament and he went and fought all those guys, man. That was like a tournament style thing, and that was some good fighters in there. Andre Durrell, he was an Olympian. He was in a tournament also. So I ain't gonna say I'm sick and tired, but to right now, boxing is more entertainment now than it is actual fights because we already know the outcome. It's turned into wrestling.
Coach, how you feel about Lamont Roach? You know, their history and them, you know, having history in the amateurs or whatever it was. You know, I'm asking about it being a good fight for Tank, a good matchup for Tank.
I'm pulling for him. I hope it is a good matchup. You know, I really do. You know, and it could be one of them type of deals. It could be like fighting one of your sparring partners, man. You know, that can give you some trouble. I don't know a whole lot about Lamont Roach. I've seen a couple of his fights. I don't know how big of a puncher he is, and so I'm not really sure. But I mean, it's a safe move for Tank. You know, I'm not really over the heels about it or thrilled about it or anything because I think there is other competition. But Tank, he won't move up. He's gonna stay at 135. So all the fights that we want, we're not gonna get him because those guys are much bigger than Tank. So they just need to just keep moving. You know, you do the really welterweights and junior middleweights. Tank's a small guy.
I compare it to the last fight that we saw Caleb Plant in, and the guy. I mean, everybody thought Caleb Plant was just gonna walk through him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, McCumbee.
Yeah. Nobody knew that fight was gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I think is gonna be what's gonna happen with Lamont Roach. The fight is gonna be a lot more exciting than what people think because
because of the name, honestly.
And Lamont Roach, out of his own mouth, that's why I watched that interview. You feel what I'm saying on Cigar Talk? Good interview. Basically, he was saying that I've always had intentions on moving up, but now it's opportunity and everything that caused the schedule to be shifted. When a guy says that, then he understands what he's up against.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? He also mentioned that, listen, I'm not getting it nowhere near. I think it was Leo Santa Cruz he was talking about how Leo got it. Like these dudes is relentless on me and stuff like that. And he understands that. He understands that part. So what I wanted to ask you outside of this situation was what are your thoughts on Bivol versus what's the name? Because you got a lot of American fans trying to say that this fight has no implications, just like body work cooked on earlier has no real implications on American boxing. I disagree with it because everybody knew who Demetrius Bivol was when he pulled off, when he pulled off the victory. I was a fan going into that fight, talking heavy for Bivol. Like, you don't cherry pick a motherfucker that's like Bivol.
Let
So
me
maybe, so
let me
I'll just land it right there.
let me speak to what Coach said, since he brought that to the table, and we all can transition into that, because I really don't want my message to get construed.
For sure.
Yes, I am a Tank fan, right? I try to be the ones that like, man, if I see something that's like not too crazy or whatever, I'm not gonna be the loudest speaker on like saying it, but I do like putting stakes on the ground for the scheme of boxing and where we're at now. I have the same frustrations as Coach Eddie. I think I kind of compartmentalized them a couple years ago, and I kind of started looking at boxing different. Like, I was talking to my old head, we used to talk all the time, and I kept trying to tell him, I think it's coming up on 2 years ago. I said, man, boxing has changed. I said, and what you got to do is you kind of got to go in there. It's like going to the Goodwill. I'm gonna be honest. You got to go. It's like going to the Goodwill, man. It's like everybody don't want to go to the Goodwill, but if you go to the Goodwill, you got to go in there and look, and you might be able to get a new bench or something that somebody just had to get off, and they be like, man, this is just too nice to throw it away. Somebody else can get it for the low ski. That's how we kind of got to look at boxing. So I don't get caught up in the whole the mano a mano part. Like, I see it, but I've understood that the business of boxing has gotten in front of the actual boxing. And to speak to what Coach Eddie's saying is, I understand his frustration, especially with Tank, and we all want to see him against the biggest, baddest. My thing is this: I resigned to say, listen, I can't blame this dude if these dudes want to go up above his weight class, knowing some of them should be fighting 2 weight classes above, and then you want to drag your feet about the money, and then you want to come in and be able to do this weight-wise and do all this other stuff. It's just like, no. Look, for whatever reason, when I started in 2013, I built myself up to where I'm, I garnered this. This is what I earned. Like, this is when I've earned this. I went through the ringer. I got with this promotional company. I checked all these boxes that they had me do. Then I jumped out on my own. Like, I cannot knock the hustle when these guys, they're going to drag their feet or go back and forth 1,000 times about the bread, and then want to have all these advantages where, at one point in time, Bud said he would wait at 47. At the same time, everybody was saying it'd be okay for him anyway. Then if you throw in Devin, Shakur, T.O., Conor Ben over there at 147, the dude never had a lack of options. But I'm like, you can't have all these options, but then you want to make the guy who can sell out wherever he go, you want to twist his arm around, and he's smaller than everybody. I'm like, well, he can only fight who they want. Like, you got to be reasonable about it. So I'm not saying that I condone the business, and I definitely don't want to be perceived as a fanager. I'm just saying, listen, we got to check the pulse of everybody, not just Tank. I put them all on the scale. I say, look, we're going to measure them with the same compass, the same scale, the same ruler as we do them all. So we gotta spread this accountability when these guys are not even maneuvering to where they want to kind of even make it. They want their back scratched, their balls rubbed. It's like, come on, man, do you want to fight or not? And that's where I'm at. So I'm not a fanager, man. I'm just I look at the bare bone nuts and bolts of everything and try to, look at it like that. Cause I think we're starved. But to transition into what AC was bringing up, I heard somebody earlier say that this fight right here, it didn't have much U.S. appeal, and I guess he wants to get at that. What's your opinion on that fight not having much U.S. appeal?
To me, I'm looking forward to the fight, man, because I'm not one of these type of guys. I know boxing is it's a worldwide sport, man, and over here in America, we're really not getting the fight that we want. And I guess the thing about it is, when you a star, in my opinion, if you a star fighter or you at the top of the heat, you're supposed to carry the sport. So it's like you got more water in your bucket than Joe Blow, or some club fighter or some guy that's a contender. He's not carrying the same weight that you have. So when you carry the sport and all the fans are looking up to you, that's a big responsibility. That's why you seen guys like Muhammad Ali in a lot of tough fights, man. Joe Frazier, a lot of tough fights. This Bivol fight with Beterbiev, I'm interested in the fight because I think it's a good quality fight between two top champions. This is not a champion. This is really a pick 'em fight, and that to me that's what make a fight intriguing. Yeah. It's like when you watch a Canelo fight, it's like you waiting to see if the guy can survive. How long is it gonna take before he get dismantled? It's kind of like watching a horror movie. When you watch a Tank fight, it's like watching a horror movie. When is Jason gonna kill this dude? Because we already know he ain't got no chance. Same with Canelo. When is he gonna kill this dude? And you get a parade just for making it to the end of the fight, like they did Edgar Berlanga. The dude got an actual parade. Oh, well, Frank Mark, he did pretty good, but he got knocked out. I'm not a fan of those type of fights. Yeah, will I watch them? Yes, because I'm entertained by them. But I think this fight is a true pick 'em fight. The Bivol Beterbiev fight, true pick 'em fight. Or you watch a Shakur fight. You got to drink some coffee. To make sure that you can make it through the fight. You know what I'm saying? And with Devin Haney, you kind of like which Devin Haney going to show up. And same thing with Teofimo Lopez. Which Teofimo is going to show up? Is the good Teo going to show up or the bad Teo going to show up? So I think this fight that we got coming up this weekend, I think it's going to live up to the hype, the expectation, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. And now, the one more thing I want to add, then I'm gonna hand the mic. When you get these guys over here that are carrying the sport, like right now, the guys that are carrying the sport, Canelo, Tank Davis, those are the two top guys over here in America, man. Over there in the UK. You talking about that's a different fan base over there. Their fans are a little bit different. They kind of like just like a bunch of like rowdy, like frat boys. We're gonna get drunk. We're gonna go watch somebody get beat up. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna cheer. We're gonna go home. We're gonna talk about it. It's a different fan base. Over here, we are critics. We ready to critique everything from the agents, from the purse bid to the promotion to the the press conference. We looking for any little thing. All our fighters under a microscope, and I think it hurts our fighters over here because these guys are afraid to take chances because they don't want to wake up the next day and look at the internet and be a meme. So these are human beings, man. And they say, dang man, if I go out like Jamal Charlo, he fought Canelo. He said, man, I can let this dude knock me out. He ran.
Jamel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jamel. He ran because he didn't want to be a meme. So yeah, man. But that's kind of my take on it, man.
I wanted to ask you a question about that. As far as the fights that you would consider like them top tier fights, like you got this one coming up, Beterbiev and Bivol. Then we had I think another one that I would compare would be like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, for instance. Now, when it comes to the 135 and 140 division, what for y'all, like what fight have we seen that was even close to that level? It don't matter if it's the name wise or if it's just the hype around it or whatever the case may be. What do you think that fight was? When we talking about all of these different weight divisions.
I'm sitting there trying to think. I can't think of a fight to that magnitude. The Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, that fight had a lot of magnitude to it.
Yeah,
I can't. The only thing I could think of that could probably right, but that was a little bit that was better than that was the Tyson Fury Wilder fight. That fight had a lot of magnitude to it.
I think the Usyk and Tyson Fury fight.
That's one fight I was gonna say, and I was gonna also say some people may disagree, but Stephen Fulton going to fight Inoue over in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, he got. I think the Anthony Joshua when he fought Usyk, that fight had a lot of magnitude to it because they was, and the rematch when he fought Ruiz because literally that dude's career was on the line.
I ain't gonna lie, man. a lot of the way the fans perceived uh the smaller weight divisions a few years ago, you would have thought that the Tank and Ryan fight should have been in the category. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think, and now we see, that Ryan is not, obviously he was undefeated before. He's not like the greatest boxer out here. You know what I'm saying? So now I don't really know, because that was supposed to be a big fight at the time.
Yeah.
Now we kind of looking at it differently, But
What did y'all take away from the Tim Tszyu and Fundora fight? Did that
I
leave
think
enough?
I think the cut determined a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a rematch, honestly.
Okay, so let me bring this one in. Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor.
That was a
I think Josh Taylor was washed up, bro.
Yeah,
He was washed, man.
Okay,
Yeah, that was a wash.
all right.
Yeah.
I would say if you talking about the little guys, I seen I like that Robisi Ramirez and Rafael Espinosa. But you see, a lot of people don't like the smaller guys, but that was actually a good scrap.
And who was it? Bam too, right? Bam and
Bam, yeah, Bam. That's one of the younger guys that's coming up. That I'm big on him.
Was it Estrada that he fought like a couple times? I think was it Bam and Estrada? Yeah.
He got Estrada, and before that he had buddy. He getting ready to fight again here. This across the pond. Forgot his name, man.
Yeah,
But
I can't remember his name.
It's been few and far in between, man.
I want to pose a question to the panel. This is what I've been thinking. I'm thinking that I'm not gonna call it an American style, but this post Floyd Mayweather style of boxing, far as like the tactics and the skills and the fancy footwork, it's not and the fancy pad work. I think that style of boxing has been figured out, and that's why a lot of our quote on I'm gonna put in quotation marks slick black fighters are getting beat and knocked off by basic fighters who use basic fundamentals, and they're beating these guys. Not only beating them, they're knocking them out.
Yeah,
I think these guys need to get back to the basics. They need to go back and start and watch these guys from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s, and leave the shoulder roll along, and because that shoulder roll is getting these boys killed, man. Yeah. I can count on both hands the number of fighters who that shoulder rolled and got in trouble, and getting them knocked off. We can start with Adrian Bronner, we can start with Andre Berto, we can start with Montana Love, Stephen Fulton, and I'm kind of leery for Jerron Ennis because he fights like that too, and I'm waiting for him to mess around and run into something.
Boost get hit, man. I like Boost a lot, but I don't think that. I still don't think, like, if him and Crawford would have fight, let's just say next year, I still think Bud would win that fight. And that's just my opinion, but I really like Boots. I think fundamentally, I think Bud just has the advantage on him, like experiences wise. I just feel like he would figure him out.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask y'all something, man. How did y'all see the fight between Virgil Ortiz and Boachuk? What happened in that fight?
I think Boachuk was robbed.
Me too.
I honestly gotta say that. Just like I felt the homeboy that just fought Shushu was robbed, because I never seen a guy who outlands you. All the stats are better than yours, and you still lost the fight. And I'm a fan of Shushu. He from my hometown. We both from Brooklyn. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep it a beam, bro. You got a gift with that one, because there's no fucking way. You got legitimate stats, and you still won that fight.
And another thing, to speak to what Coach was saying, about those styles, because when I look back at that Oshaki Foster and Conceição, which was a robbery too. That was a robbery too, but you got to look at the way they are actually judging too. So when you got that pretty style, see, the thing with Floyd was when he made himself evasive, he also was able to go from defense to offense so quick to where he would embarrass you. He was like the you reach, I'm going to teach every time. So now people are getting glorified for being evasive, but they're not demonstrating. See, that only works when you embarrass your opponent. When you show a level of mastery where I could control him. Okay, you hip to this. All right, I'm about to change levels, and then I'm, in everything I do, I'm just going to embarrass you, and I'm gonna look pretty doing it. These young guys are not doing it. They have flashes of elements of it, but they're not putting in the work to be able to fully master it. And then some of them is just, it's a fad. It's almost like how the Wildcat was in football. It's like, yeah, that shit worked for a little while if you know, but if you don't got it mastered, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get fucked up.
They don't be trying to make them pay. I think Crawford does it, to his ability.
The thing is, you got guys, here's the thing. They want to be Floyd Mayweather, but they don't want to be Pretty Boy Floyd before Floyd became Money May. That style that Floyd Mayweather has was developed from Pretty Boy Floyd. You feel what I'm saying? He had to change his style up for those who don't know. He had to change the style up because he had hand issues. He couldn't be that knockout artist. So what they did, they devised a defensive plan that still utilized his high ring IQ, his high defensive ability, with his high offensive ability.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, AC. But was his mentality different? Because I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he ever had a mentality that, well, even if I'm using this style, like, okay, well, cool. You don't like what I'm doing? Like, fuck you. Like, did he ever have that, or did he still want to? Did he still want to entertain while he was doing?
Floyd wanted to entertain because he knew if I talk too much derogatory shit about my fan, I'm not gonna make the fight. Hate me because how I act outside the ring, but love me because I'm putting on a show, and no matter who you guys try to put in front of me, I'm gonna make them look stupid. Now here's the thing: Floyd gave us the fights we wanted, and that's the argument. Sometimes people say, "Well, Floyd didn't give us." He gave us Zab Judah. He gave us Diego Corrales. You feel what I'm saying? He gave us Oscar De La Hoya. The fuck you mean this dude didn't give us the fights he wanted? Later on in his career, it was so many guys. I can't fight everybody, and I'm telling you, I'm retiring in 3 fights. The fuck how am I supposed to fight everybody? And that was the whole thing with the love or hate Floyd. People loved to hate Floyd Mayweather. Oh, I hate that nigga. But you see how excited they get when they talk about him. They smiling and they're laughing and joking and all kind of shit. But they saying I hate this dude. When you look at these crops of dudes, just like I spoke about earlier, you don't like a fighter because you're a Shakur whisperer or you're a Devin Haney whisperer. And I'm a big Devin Haney fan, but I'm not a Devin Haney whisperer. Mm-hmm. When somebody criticizes my guy, I don't, nah, you can't say that about my dude. He was, and he did this. Nah, because some of the shit he does, I don't agree with. You feel what I'm saying?
I got a question for the panel on that note. So as far as like, when you said Floyd, he gave us the fights. What do you think about Canelo, in this situation now, with him being with the PBC and Benavidez being with the PBC, and he not giving us that fight? Like, a lot of people are like talking down on that.
So let me I just want to come in with this, and I'll land the plane real fast.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to that type of situation with the Benavidez, I'm a big Benavidez fan. You fuck that up. Everybody wants to say, yeah, but he made up his mind. Yeah, timing is everything, and I can't get on a plane once that plane already took off.
Right.
Don't fuck with the drugs. Don't do the stupid shit outside the ring. You would have had your belt. Canelo would have had no choice but to see you if he wanted to be undisputed.
Facts.
Coach, man, chime in on that Canelo stuff, man.
Oh yeah, well, I think Canelo is trying to, he's trying to fatten the bank account up. It is what it is, He felt like he done enough in his career. He's going on 35. I mean, this cat probably, You know, he basically what he's gonna do. He's gonna rob the bank. You know, he's gonna do the Floyd Mayweather thing, man. You got to remember, he over there with Al Heyman. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
something. I
exactly.
believe him. I believe Mayweather and Canelo. I believe they're on good terms, man. I really
Oh,
do.
hey, hell yeah.
They're on good terms. I believe they talk. You know, I believe they speak. And Floyd, I think Floyd directs him and kind of helps guide his career. You know what I'm saying? Because Floyd is always doing things that we don't see. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So I mean, Canelo always speaks very highly of Floyd Mayweather. If you listen to him talk, he speaks highly of Floyd.
Yeah, and
That is true.
Floyd knew not to fuck up the bag. Canelo knows not to fuck up the bag, just like he told Berlanga. Don't try to fight because you lose your money now. Don't lose your money now. You feel what I'm saying? So now that Canelo speaking English like that, and you know he's funny. People finding out that the dude is actually funny and likable.
Yeah. But at
Like,
the end of the day,
go ahead, do you, bro? Do you? I ain't got
right?
no problem with you no more. Do you now? You earn
And
that
and
shit,
those
man.
and those guys know. You know, Canelo knows. The team know that really David is just too much for Canelo. I mean, physically, he's the physical specimen. You know what I mean? He's a relentless guy. He's not like the type of guy who just gonna show up just to show up. David's coming to win.
Yeah.
You know, and he's coming to do a number on Canelo, and they know it. You know what I'm saying? When have you ever seen Demetrius Andrade? You never seen he dispatched Demetrius Andrade. That was a demolition job. I think once Canelo seen that, he said, "Oh no, I'm not getting in the ring with this dude, man." You know what I'm saying? Because that was a demolition job right there. Somebody that he ducked for years got dismantled by the Mexican monster, which wasn't fair to Demetrius Andrade because that was his proving point to prove that he wasn't a hype job by going up against Godzilla. So that's how I got to prove myself that I'm a good fighter. I got to fight Godzilla, at that weight class. But now David Benavidez looks normal at 175 because he doesn't have those advantages. But at 168, the dude had a lot of advantages, man.
And I agree with you on that. And that's where me and Pop a lot of smoke. We heavy Benavidez fans, but I draw that line when I'm like, Pop, based on the way he's looking at 75, I can't say he beats Bivol or Beterbiev, bro. I hear what you're saying, but I just can't see it. Not right now. Give me another fight. Give me another fight because I'm still gonna argue that he's got a David Morrell problem because Morrell is literally chasing you, and he's got the public perception behind him that he's chasing you, and public perception is reality. And as long as I stay within those parameters and keep the same energy, I think I'll always be able to make a legitimate argument whether I'm for or against some shit.
Facts.
Well, to speak on Benavidez for me, it's like Benavidez was gonna be damned if he do, damned if he don't. Because Morrell was in that spot that Berlanga was. It was like as soon as Morrell got out of the spot, Berlanga jumped in and a fight was made. And the same thing happened with Ryder. Ryder wasn't there. He got that spot. And as soon as that happened. So I just wish that people that love Canelo, I respect his career to an extent, but I'm not. That's where I draw it at, man. I know that he's done enough to where it's like, yeah, you got the right to do that. I just wish that the people that favor him knew that. Because they know that him going up against David is not, it'll be detrimental to Canelo's career. So let's not hamstring David. And then when it comes down to him missing weight and then the cocaine, it's like, yeah, I can't knock him at first. Because I gave him a lot. He had to win me over time. I was on David for a long time, man. I was on it. Then I finally said, you know what? He redeemed himself. It wasn't like this. This is not his first rodeo after that. That stuff happened so long ago that and the fans were calling for that fight for so long. But I just don't like the narrative that they paint. It's like, okay, cool. If you okay with Canelo riding off into the sunset, okay, cool. But let's not act like it was anything David could do other than being chosen by Canelo to get that fight. I think he's moved on. I'm not gonna put too much weight on his first fight coming up because Bud didn't look the same going from 47 to 54 in his first fight. I still got to see what he's gonna look like in his second fight at 54. Just like I think that it made perfect sense for us to get the two Davids because neither one of them look the same at 68, but we know that they can do it. I think that they can make the fight at whatever weight they want. It could even be in between if they want it, as long as them two fought right then and there and they was on the same playing field. And I would take that fight because neither one of them looked as extraordinary as they looked at 68. You know, that's my take on that, man. So I'm kind of let Benavidez. He's earned my respect. Benavidez earned my respect. I'm not gonna say, oh man, you shouldn't have moved because Canelo, you at the mercy of him picking you.
Yeah, you know? I see that those are solid points, but I just differ with you when it comes down to why we're at where we're at. You can call for the fight. Yes, he did his thing to come back to come back up. I congratulate him and everything like that. You feel what I'm saying? I'd hop back on the bandwagon. I kind of left the dude alone when I found that he did the things he did. It was just like, all right, man, this guy ain't serious, man. How the fuck do you go out and you do some shit like that? You know. Then I was like, all right, maybe he young, so I'll just see what he do. I'll judge him by his actions moving forward. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I got one thing I'm gonna do, and then everybody give their closing thoughts because I normally keep them at an hour, but when we got some good talk like that, I'll make it 2 just for the playback and people will want to listen. But let me just do this. We get everybody closing thoughts and leave something on everybody's mind. And if y'all haven't, man, the ones on the panel, if y'all haven't subscribed, man, subscribe to the channel. This is an alternative. We have intellectual talks. You know, I try to give nutritional value and try to speak with level head, not deal in emotions so much, but also be a voice to where it's like we express that we want the big fights. You know what I'm saying? We are not getting in the way of them. You know what I'm saying? And we want them. But what's on y'all mind? Leave everybody with something on your mind before we close out.
I'll go first since I'm right there. Basically, I'm gonna say this, man. At the end of the day, for all the boxing fans that may watch this on the replay, you know, you have 2 choices, and I'm gonna go back to Big Bro Morpheus. You could either take the red pill or the blue pill. One of these motherfuckers is gonna lead you wrong. The other one's gonna take you down the rabbit hole. That it might be a little challenging based on how much you've enjoyed the luxury of that blue pill. It may be a little challenging to you, but at the end of the day, when you just come to certain things to say, listen, if I want to have intelligent boxing conversation and not have to yell and feel like I'm constantly defending my shit, then I have to look at things objectively. I have to put a different spin to it because right now the spin that I've been working with, it's got me constantly beefing on every platform that I go on. So with that being said, you know, give the same energy, be a critical thinker about the same energy. You feel what I'm saying? And, you know, stop fucking with them red pills. That's where I'll land at.
Word up.
For sure. Yeah, like I say, that's a great closing argument. Not an argument, that's just a great statement to be made right there. I think boxing it's in a good place right now. I think it's kind of going back to the days of Don King where we actually thanks to Turkey Al-Sheikh, you know, some people don't like him, some do. I think he's doing a good job because he's putting on stacked cards, man. You know, you're getting good opposition on these cards, man, and that's what it's all about, man. And what happens is when you stack a card up with good opposition and have quality fights, then that kind of, you know, if you lose the fight, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you got a winner and you got a loser. So you getting 2 good fighters fighting each other. One of them loses, it kind of softens the blow a little bit. You know what I mean? Because now not only did you lose, but somebody else lost, but y'all was all contenders. But y'all was all champions. Y'all were all, you know, it wasn't any mismatches. It was most of these fights 50-50-50 or maybe 55-45 or 60-40. We're not getting these 90-10 fights, you know, or these 80-20 fights. So when the guys putting on quality fights, man. And I think the PBC is starting to follow, trying to take suit, because what I'm hearing is they're starting to stack their cards up. They putting Tank on one card. They bringing the Charlos back. From what I'm hearing, they stacking these cards up with some names, and that's bringing value to it. You know what I mean? That's value to the pay-per-view. That's value to the card. It's good for boxing, and we got to stop. If a guy loses, we can't throw him away. Don't throw the guy away like like he's a disposable lighter, or like he's a disposable razor if he loses the fight. Get a guy a chance to come back. See, that's what boxing is all about. All our good boxers, they lost some fights, but then we look forward to seeing when they came back, to see if they can, overturn or, beat the guy that beat them, or turn over a new leaf and regain that championship. So that's what's missing in boxing. You can't win all the fights. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. So we got to also put a little bit of respect on the guy that got out there and possibly lost the fight. And we got to, give him a chance to come back and see what he looks like. But yeah, that's where I'm going to land my plane right there.
Yeah, so I want to just say salute to the channel, man. My first time being on here, but I'm definitely about to subscribe and everything like that. And I just want to piggyback off of what Coach Eddie just said, and kind of add a little bit more to that. And I think the fighters, they have to do more of what you were saying, because a lot of casual fans, they don't want to watch after they lose one time. I think if we get some of these fights, that even if they don't lose, or if they tough fights or whatever, just competitive, then that's gonna bring the fans back anyway. Just seeing some action. I think that's what's gonna drive the sport. And even if they do take a loss, we're gonna want to see it again. We're gonna want to go see a rematch, or see them against this person, that person, and it's all good. We just all got to be honest. As fans, as boxers, as the whole community. And we, it's just everything's gonna be good if we can start seeing some of the good fights. Like we all want to see it. So hopefully we can. And Tank, I'm gonna watch the fight. I'm pretty sure a lot of people gonna watch the fight. It ain't the ideal fight, but at the end of the day, I'm expecting there to be some fireworks in there, and and for the Devin Haney fans, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, we got to stop putting all these fighters and tying them together. Every time somebody mentioned this person, they got to mention that boxer. So if we talking about Tank, we ain't got to mention Devin. I'm still a Devin Haney fan at the end of the day, but I like Tank too. You know what I'm saying? So I like both of them. So we can't just keep on putting them against each other. Like we can love boxing, and we can love multiple fighters at once. We don't have to be. It's not like we Bloods and Crips out here. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I really wanted to say, man. Let's just keep supporting the boxing, and just keep on talking about it. That's what's keeping the sport alive.
Oh man, good message, man. Good closeout, y'all, man. It was good, man. Thanks for gracing the panel, man. Feel free to come back whenever, man. We just do that body work, man. So I appreciate y'all, man. To the next time.
Yes, sir. Salute, brother.
Great show, man. Salute to everybody on the panel.
All right.
Already.
David Tussain, man. 14. Hey, I appreciate that, man. A little support, my G. By the way, I'm from South Africa. Hey, salute, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. The channel appreciates that. Thank you. But yeah, we just, just putting some everything into perspective, man. We're not trying to be fanagers and get in the way of fights, man. We just passionate. We want what we want. The business of boxing sometimes gets in the way and it starves us out. But we gotta honestly assess everything and hold everybody to the same level of accountability. Use the same measuring stick or measuring rod. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get the length, the breadth, the depth, the width, the capacity, the buoyancy. Then let's do it with them all, man. The reality of the matter is, man, these two guys are champions in their own right. And hopefully, it's only so long, man, because you know, he's putting on competitive fights, but this, you know, if it's not profitable in the long haul, man, who knows how long this money grab gonna be, you know, and it's gonna be a recession if once that goes away. Let's just look at let's look at balls going in holes and soccer balls going in goals. It's binary. You know what I'm saying? Did you catch a fish or not? Did we get the big fight or not? Anything else, man? It's really just to get us divided and conquered and emotional. And David Toussaint said, yeah, we want the best to fight the best. And like that, Tank killed that whole narrative of him ducking black fighters. Yep. So that's another thing he can check off the list, you know what I'm saying? And we in a time, man, where we kind of gotta be patient, but we gotta be vocal. We gotta be vocal, but we gotta be patient. And it's some good things going on, man. The Beterbiev and Bivol is the next war. Heavy implications because the winner is going to fight David Benavidez allegedly, or it might be the beginning of a trilogy. We don't know what happens. You know what I'm saying? So that's the next big fight that's on the lookout, man. I just want to, again, thank to everybody. Cookie Monster, David Toussaint, AC, Baby Joker, Coach Eddie here for boxing. His twin, Rude Exposure. Salute to all of y'all, man. This is Fruits and Veggies. Not that Reggie. That fact-based, not opinion-based content. You know, I appreciate everybody. Hope everybody have a good evening, man. If you haven't, update your notifications and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, hit the like, comment, share. Cool environment, man. It's cool environment over here. And hopefully you can put something in your rucksack and march on with it. But thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Body Work.